Commerce and Consumer Affairs Minister Andrew Bailey has announced the government will repeal the Business Payment Practices Act. He joins me now. So why are you getting rid of it?
Well, basically it won't work. Australia put in a similar system a few years ago and found that when they reviewed it just recently, that in some cases businesses were actually paying on a slower basis. So what we're looking at doing is moving to a more practical outcome, and the view is that why shouldn't government take a lead in terms of making prompt payments to New Zealand manufacturers and suppliers and service providers? So that's the whole thrust of the reform.
Well, are government departments and agencies not doing that? Because, the previous government made that point too. I understood it had directed agencies to be prompt in their payments.
Yeah, so that's right. But actually, we've got a list of what government departments are doing. So we're going to actually start to disclose that so we can actually get transparency around payment time for government agencies. But secondly, the big part of it is we want all government departments to move to paying within 10 working days for an ordinary invoice. But where a small supplier, for instance, or whoever wants to move to e-invoicing, then we're going to incentivise that by requiring payment to occur within 5 working days. Because one of the big things we want to achieve in small business sector particularly is more digitisation, and e-commerce is one of those areas. So we're providing a carrot to people who do engage with the government, and remember the government procures about $51 billion a year, that if you use e-commerce, e-invoicing, you're going to get paid within 5 working days.
And I think you're talking to Business New Zealand about trying to expand this voluntarily, if you like, across the private sector as well?
Yes, so obviously we want to make sure government is fulfilling its role, but secondly we want to make sure large businesses are alongside us. So Kirk Hope has also announced that he's working with the large business group to get a voluntary code to put in place good payment times, because large businesses that have the cash, they should be paying their suppliers on a more timely basis.
When will the legislation be repealed?
We're going to hopefully push that through in the next few weeks. It is vitally important that we do it quickly, and the reason for that is MBR is in the cusp of embarking on spending $2, $3, maybe $4 million to put in place the IT system for the existing system that won't work. So we need to stop that, and we need to authorise them to stop work on that. But also I want to flag to industry in general, don't do any work more in terms of upgrading the IT platforms to meet this requirement, because we're going to move to this other arrangement.
But won't they have to upgrade their IT systems, though, to ensure that they're paying promptly?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the system, because under the bill practices, they have to put in IT changes, which mean that you've got to record actually when it comes into your office, all that type of... So that we're saying don't do that. But of course, we want to encourage businesses to upgrade and do their e-invoicing so they can get advantage of the 5-day working day payment.
So once you put in place, a new the new proposal, the code and what have you, will you review it at some later date to see if it's proving to be effective?
Well, if we can get government spending and paying people much more regularly, particularly when they're spending $51 billion a year, that would be a great start. If we can get large businesses doing it, that would be an even greater start. And then, of course, what we want to do is just over time cascade that down through the industry. But, you've got to start with government, because we are such a large procurement, and we should be showing the leadership around that.
Andrew Bailey, thank you for your time.
To support our award-winning independent journalism, subscribe to nbr.co.nz.